Hello, Sagittarius. I hope everybody's doing great today. Apollo and I wanted to wish you a wonderful day, whatever time of day it is, whether it's morning or evening. This is your March 2020 forecast that we're going to be looking at today. And there's a lot of transformative energy coming through for you. So I'd like to begin right at the beginning just by introducing who I am in case you just happen to push the live icon if you were just on YouTube. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. For everybody that is returning, and I see a lot of friendly faces here in chat, I want to say welcome back. It's good to see you. And you came on a great day. I was up early and receiving so much information for this sign that there's a lot of cards that we'll be getting through in a second. A lot of healing energy coming through today. And this is going to be important, and I think really also aligning to my bigger vision for all signs this month, which is how to get into that frequency of being more in love with who you are, what you're doing, and also making peace with people in your life. So it's like self-love, healing, and forgiveness. A lot of that came through specifically for Sagittarius. So it's going to be a really, I would say, impactful reading for you today. I'd also like to just remind people, if you're brand new, how you can use this reading. It's designed for sun sign, but also it works very well for rising or for your moon sign if you happen to know all of those parts of your chart. You can also watch on behalf of someone in your life that you care about. If you just know your sun sign, you're going to be set. So just enjoy this reading. I'd like to also let you know how I organize this. Every month, I like to separate it into about 4 parts. I start off with the psychic energy first. So a lot of people want me to rush straight into the cards. The channeled message is actually just as valuable, if not more valuable, than what I'm going to give in the cards. So opt out decks because I needed a more balanced one. We'll talk about that in a second. As I look at the Celtic Cross, you'll get highlights and also challenges. Then we look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. And something that I've been doing new with all the live readings since January is I've added in healing meditations. So we'll do a further expansion, focusing on work that really has to do with the soul and this love with a capital L, which is unconditional love. So that latter portion is really important. It's kind of like for those of you that are yogis, it's Shavasana, basically. We set up everything and get ready for that moment where integration can happen. So we'll focus on some soul integration at the end. I hope you can stick around. I'd like to give a special thank you to Ryan and Maria, who always help organize this chat room while I'm doing my reading. Really helps. And if you have a question, you can shoot a question to either of the moderators. They're awesome. The way that I deal with chatting in a live broadcast probably differs from many intuitives and psychics out there. I don't do pick a card or basically pay for questions. That's not how this works. I'm here to really present a download, and we're all here to gather and meditate later. And we take advantage of the group energy in that way. But if you do want to say thank you, you can definitely use Super Chat. And for those of you that have never seen it before, it's this little icon here by the emojis. And that way you can kind of put up a sticker or emphasize, the words thank you or something like that. And I'll see it when I'm finished with the reading. That also helps me continue to buy great supplies and set up the time to be here. So I encourage that kind of Super Chat or super stickers, but I can't reply as I'm doing this because it breaks the channel. And for those of you that listen on replay, I don't want to interrupt. To that end, I don't want to talk any longer than I have already. I'm going to say at the end, you can get some information on how to book an appointment, how to join me on social media, and all of that. But right now, there's so much coming through that I really need to talk about the channeled message. So let's get into it, okay? So this morning, when I was meditating and as I awoke, I already was starting to feel messages coming through. And the first message that I saw, I was chatting with Ryan in the chat room just before. I knew that we were in retrograde, even though I don't have it circled on my calendar, because I literally saw the shadow of retrograde coming in. And so I picked a deck today that's going to have a combination of light and shadow energy. All of my decks are on my website, by the way, and you can take a look. This is, I think it's Wild Unknown. So a lot of the cards they can go from really light to really dark, and we need that when we're in retrograde. So I'll be taking a look at all of that in a second. But when I saw the shadow energy coming in, here's the difference of where I'm at now versus like maybe 10 years ago. Instead of running away from the shadow energy, I thought, okay, what we have to do today is beam out. We have to go brighter and lighter and really shine through the shadow energy coming through and basically focus on the release element of it, fear, anger, regret. And something that came to me in particular as I was meditating is that for some of you, this has to do with parents in your life. A father is what came through primarily, but it could also be a mom or some other parental figure in your life. I feel like there could be some healing with the family that needs to be done. And as I said, the way that we're going to go through this is to shine brightly, and I capitalize that as big as I could. Be a spotlight. We're going to go into the shadow, and we're going to do that in the meditation as well. And I was speaking with a family member earlier too, and they reminded me of the power of gratitude as a transformational tool when it comes to looking at things that have happened in your life where maybe you're frustrated. You think like, why did I end up here? If you can look at all of these aggregate experiences, the good, the challenging, the not so good, and think, A, I called some of them into my life, and B, everything that I experienced brought me here today to the person that I am and that I'm becoming, then I'm at least grateful for that evolution of my soul. And that's going to be really important in forgiving people who have disappointed or who have done things that are questionable. And it's going to help you get past the shadow or to take the shadow and bring it into the light. And that's our focus for today. One last image that I was picking up on as I was meditating, again, I was kind of barraged by energy this morning, was that of a plane. And it was kind of like an old-fashioned plane with a propeller, not necessarily one of our 747s or anything. And I just saw that there was like too much stuff and the plane couldn't get off the ground. And so I feel like emotionally, when we're looking at baggage, when we're looking at other energy coming into the month of March, but since many of us are watching right at the beginning of retrograde at the end of February, you have a chance now to kind of let go of these things so that March, you can actually take that plane and go, upward and onward, as I've been saying in many signs this month. So I want to help you lighten the load this month. I think that was the main thing that I was seeing for Sagittarius. I feel like you can do it. And we're going to make that happen today, okay? So at this point, perfect segue into pulling out the cards and seeing the messages that are coming through. Again, welcome to everybody that's new. At this point, just a reminder that I like to be quiet so that I can not only observe the placement of the cards, but I also get additional information. So just stick with me as I do that. I'll be back afterwards and we'll go through each and every card and talk about what the messages are for you, okay? Thank you, guys. Yeah, this deck is called Wild Unknown. It works with a lot of animal totems, and there's actually a separate deck that I sometimes use that's just animal totems, but it's in my, I actually updated my deck section of the website, so this is definitely included on that, Wild Unknown. What I like about it, mini review, is that it actually includes light and dark, like I said, and that's important when we're in retrograde. And just to geek out for a second, that's something that I actually like about tarot. I have some friends that read with oracle cards only, or back in the day, I had some clients that would ask me to read with, I have it, I don't use it, I haven't in many years, the Doreen Virtue Angel deck, and it's just, there's no balance in it. So I specifically swapped out and found a deck that was more balanced for your sign this morning. And it's interesting, certain decks will help you through difficult times. This one will help your sign. I felt very good about it today. And we did see the Father card come through here. Father of Swords came through in a basically hopes, fears, and opportunities. And then I also see a release card. So I definitely see some sort of healing that can happen with men in your life, whether it's a father or brother or just someone that you know that kind of has that strong energy. I'm picking up on that for many of you. we're getting ahead of everything. So I want to back up and talk about the catalyst. If you watch my readings from month to month, you know that this catalyst card functions as kind of like a compass. It helps show how everything is connected. It keeps us on the path, though. That's why I like the kind of metaphor of a compass of how to stay in the light, which is important today, and how to try to move through difficult times. So this card is reversed, but I'm going to read it upright so we can see it together. It says, I know what I'm here to do, purpose, really staying focused in what your goals are. And I think one of the challenges this month is that people may show up in ways that appear to sort of be helpful, but they're really there to kind of divert you or to pose the question, are you sure this is what you want to do? So the more grounded you can be, the more specific you are in what it is that you're trying to accomplish, the easier it's going to be to get that done. Stay on your path. Don't let people distract you. And I would say really focus too. We didn't see the card come through. Maybe it will come through when we do the soul work at the end. But sometimes when I see a magician reversed, it shows that you can do anything that you want to do, but you can't do everything. So it's really about choices. And I think the choices this month are what's going to make the difference for many of you between success and frustration. So I'm really liking what I see at the center here. We have the Strength card, which notice the absence of a person that's dominating it. A lot of times you'll see, a woman on the side opening the mouth of this animal. In this case, no. There's a lot of strength here, and it's about standing in that strength, maybe going through things in your life alone at certain points, or feeling like you notice the light behind this Strength card too. You will be sort of the leader, or you'll kind of be leading the pack, and that's kind of what I'm getting here. So don't necessarily feel like I'm all alone. Think I'm setting the tone. Sometimes it's lonely when you're leading the pack, but if you turn around and look behind you, you might notice that there's a lot of love and a lot of support. And we see that in the near future. You have at least one or two allies there that want to make things happen in the right way. So just remember, leadership can be lonely, but it's also really important. And this month, you're being asked to step up. And there's nobody there controlling you. And that's sometimes frustrating too. As we become adults, no matter how great our parents are, it's scary because there are moments where you just have to think, I guess I have to make this decision. There's nobody here to check it. And so whether your parents have passed away, or you're trying to exert your independence, or you disagree with your parent, because I'm getting that vibe of authority, let's just call it authority, then this is a month where you're going to own your own authority and trust yourself and take a leap of faith. I love this illustration. It reminds me of the emoji that I sometimes put out there in chat. So when you're taking that first step, as this baby bird is, it can feel a little bit uncertain. You're still learning how to fly. And that also aligns to the image that just keep trying. The bird has to keep trying, and eventually the mom has to kind of nudge it. And so again, what I'm seeing here is a theme of independence. We have the lion, which is alone. We have the bird, which is on its own. This is a month to take a step, and possibly take a step away from that feeling of group safety and move more into your own sort of independence. Beautiful energy, really good message at the center, nothing to be afraid of, quite frankly. What's important this month as we're looking at the Five of Wands is to focus on your priorities. And this particular Five of Wands, I like how you can kind of see the energy that sometimes is pushing you in different directions. This is where the Purpose card came through reverse. So I think for you, figure out what your lane is and kind of stick into that swim lane, and don't let these other things pull you off of that course. There's a lot of people, a lot of things going on around you. All that's important this month is your own integration, your own sort of energy. So don't worry about it. This Five of Wands is devoid of people as well. It's just about the energies and how they affect you. So I'm getting that, again, strong male energy. So whether you're kind of getting in touch with your divine masculine energy rather this month, or whether there's a strong male figure in your life, we see the Emperor card here in the recent past. And the interesting thing with this message that I'm seeing is sometimes we have to be able to bend. And I feel like the Fool card is a little bit at odds with the Emperor, because I love the image here of the tree being sturdy, being strong, being old, being wise. But one thing that it can't do is, like, if there was a heavy storm coming through, some of those branches would fall off, right? it can't bend, it can't negotiate as much as something that's younger or more flexible can. So at this point in your life, you're being asked perhaps to try some things that are different, to plant a new seed. Maybe you've accomplished all you can in one particular area. Now you're going to plant something new and be flexible and give it time to grow too. And you don't have to necessarily jump straight into it, but at least plant the seed this month. That's what the Fool is all about. So as we look at your crowning card, the encouragement here with the Star card in reverse is to eventually get into that space where you're doing what's authentic to you. The Star can't hide, and that's what you have to shine. That was the message that came through, and that's what we're seeing here. The card reverse can show that people in your life may have made you question your particular gift, your particular sort of even just enthusiasm towards something. Sometimes when we're a kid, we already know what we want to do, whether it's acting or mathematics or politics or whatever it is, but our parents will come in and say, but how are you going to make money at that? You have to pay rent. This isn't something that's respected, or you're supposed to be a doctor, whatever. Society can kind of come in and say, for me, even like, what are you doing? This is crazy. You're reading cards, but if it feels right, if you're doing what you want to do and you do it with passion, you do it with integrity, you do it with grace, then you will rise up. So at this point, I feel like you're being told you can't, or your star is kind of like falling, and we want to get it in the right direction. It needs to start rising. So believe in yourself, take flight, but you're going to have to unload the baggage of parents, society, fears, doubts, and uncertainty. And then you're going to have that ability to, take that leap of faith. There's a possibility this month of meeting someone new or meeting an advocate, because this particular Two of Cups isn't necessarily just about love coming into your life. It could also be about someone who just wants to see you shine. And it's so rare that we can kind of meet a friend or a colleague or even a teacher that is selfless. But I get that some of you might be, as you let go of someone who's controlling, the Emperor, you might actually allow someone to come in that's a lot more open. If you're looking for love, it's a good month for love. We also have Queen of Cups here in your ego. So I see that many of you are opening up and saying, I either want to experience my current relationship with more depth, something that matters a little bit more. I want to go deeper in that relationship, or I'm ready to open up and allow for people to come into my energy. This is, again, where the risk card is coming in, and knowing that adding someone in there doesn't take away from your internal strength. So, when people are looking to find love, I always say, focus on yourself, become strong, become everything that you're trying to seek in a partner. I think the only missing piece in your sign this month is this integration piece with the Star. There's a piece of your past or something that you really are thinking about in the future that you're afraid to share. So the Star card is always a revelation card, revealing, coming out, integrating, showing. And so once you show that, that's when people come in and you can truly sort out friends from people that are just there trying to get something, anyone that has an angle, okay? Notice also that we have, I think it's a swan, on this, showing transformation and development. So as you become that thing that kind of makes you proud, then also people see that quality about yourself. This month, there's a lot of room to get things started, despite the fact that, again, we're going to have retrograde spilling from February into March. Some of you may be forced or encouraged to kind of make a decision, sign a contract, do something. I see a lot of communication happening. We see the lightning up there showing that it could happen with speed that's unexpected. And I think the important thing for you is just to remain firm in your goals and purposes. And also, if you're going to negotiate, just be strong at the table. Retrograde is not ideal to do things, but it doesn't mean that it can't happen. It just means that complications, delays, uncertainties, you might have to do something 2 or 3 times. And something that worked before, you might have to do it in a different way during this month. So what I'm seeing for you is just be prepared, sharpen your pencil, and think, I've got this. And then most importantly, really ask those difficult questions. If something's going on and you feel like that doesn't resonate with me, or that's not going to work, or my intuition tells me that we need to learn a little bit more about this, or this, speak up at the table, because the King of Swords card was in reverse, and that is all about being direct. I also like that they show, a wise old owl here for this, also attached to Athena. Like, this is what's best. So don't let anyone try to talk you in or out of something. Be strong, be direct. You don't have to be negative. I think that sometimes both the King and the Queen of Swords can be just a little, they can get a bad rap in tarot. And I think for you, I'm seeing enough positive cards here that I'm not worried about it. I think it's just really saying your truth, saying it quickly, not making apologies for it, and then also being sort of like the reporter. Get your your Anderson Cooper hat on and decide, like, I'm going to take care of this and ask the questions that I need. As we look at your outcome, this is really the trickiest card here, and I think this is what you want to be aware of, because you got a lot of beautifully blessed cards, I have to say. There wasn't anything super dark in this. We have some stuff here in the expanded forecast to focus on, but everything is pointing towards you being able to manage what's ahead. So we have the Seven of Swords here, and what's interesting here is that something is being either kept underneath the surface or isn't what it seems. And with respect to communication, if you think someone's trying to get away with something, this is when the Father of Swords comes in, or the King of Swords comes in and says, are you sure about that? Or, hey, I thought we discussed this, or that doesn't smell right to me. We need to look at this again. So I agree that when it comes to especially contractual things this month, you should get an expert to look at stuff. And with people in your life, it doesn't have to just be like work and signing contracts. It's verbal contracts too. So maybe you're moving and a friend of yours said that they would help, but they flake at the last minute. If you really counted on them and you know that it's not legitimate, you could just say, this has put me in a pickle and I just need to check in. Is this real? What's going on? Like, call them out on it if that's what you feel is going on. I feel like for some of it could just be people falling short of a promise. And in some places, it could also be you missing something that you need to agree to do. So if you've signed a contract and there's a term of that agreement that like a certain payment is due, or that you're locked in for a certain amount of time, you just want to take a look at this. Communication is definitely your trigger point this month, and you want to look at it. And I think it has to do with words on a page. So make sure that if you do a handshake, you get it all written down. Make sure that whatever you're signing, you know what it is if you haven't created that contract, and I think you'll be okay. The other thing here, and this is a super important message, let's forget about the contracts. This is about your ability to attract or repel opportunities in your life. If you can't be honest about who you are, what you're trying to do, and if you aren't truly like living in your truth, then other people can't and won't trust you. They can sense that something's off. This is the month to reveal, to shine, to come out, to basically be the you that you've always wanted to be. Because instead of pulling people in that are going to kind of like knock on the door and test what they can sense to be something more than what it is, you're going to pull in people that are open-hearted, that have done that developmental work themselves and are past that phase of, tricky communication. When I'm looking at potential love, and we're going to look at that more in a second, I do get an interesting sort of, I feel like there's equal partners here. When I get a king and a queen, I like that. We have someone here that's very direct, and then we have someone here that's really sensitive. The interesting thing is that the sensitive person seems to have a little bit more of a power sort of in this power dynamic in this situation. So if this is a parent in your case, forget about love situations. This is your chance to kind of find your inner power. Even if you're in a relationship and you feel like you need to say something or do something, this is a month where we want to pull the cards in parity. We want both of them to be upright. So I think that's the one thing, is speaking freely, acting freely, showing yourself and being who you want to be. So just like this lion at the center, you can be really strong and not hide anymore, because you're kind of weakening your potential. You're dimming your light. We can't dim our light this month. Okay, any sign. Let's look at the expanded forecast. This is health, wealth, love, and destiny. As I look at each of these cards, it's like taking an additional lens and getting more information about what we've just talked about. So we'll start with health. Health is mind, body, and spirit. This is really more metaphysical than physical, but it can have to do with something that's going on in your body as well. So refusing to see or to listen. So if something doesn't feel right, maybe it's a relationship and you feel like, I've got to talk to this person, something's wrong. You're probably right. There's probably something that needs to be discussed. If you're feeling not well in your body or your mind and you think, this isn't right, I should go and see a doctor, you're probably right. And it's not necessarily going to be bad because we're not picking up on any of that. It's just you sometimes putting off what is a necessary step to get to, a successful outcome. So I would say have that conversation, book that appointment, and release whatever it is that's causing that feeling of being tethered. We didn't get the devil this month. You have a lot of free will. You have a lot of choice to be able to let things go. It's just a decision. And it's interesting here that we see kind of like a third eye that's covered, that it's painted or carved into this crown, but the fact that he's wearing that is also dimming that. Think of, what was the X-Men character? Was it Magneto? The one that he would wear the crown so people couldn't get into his head. The same thing is kind of true sometimes if you're trying to push people out. I feel like some of you have just kind of closed off. So open up and don't be afraid to, again, let the light in. Shine the light on whatever questions you have. Ignorance can be muted and dissolved with knowledge, with understanding. And it's a shadow. And so we just have to inform the shadow for the shadow to go away. When I look at issues going on in your body, I'm not seeing a lot of them, to be honest. So I think this isn't a month to deal with emotional things. The cards here, aside from the Emperor, which can show being sort of sitting too much or being stuck too much in one space, the Fool card is the antithesis or the opposite of that, which is just saying move. So I think when you move, when you kind of get out of your habits, you're going to be stronger, but you have that ability to get back into a healthy space because we had strength at the center. So just honor that. No, you know what to do, many of you. So it's just a matter of picking up the phone or, deciding to do something. Let's move along to wealth. I love this. I've done a video on manifestation. We have visualized success here, and it says, see yourself doing well in this situation and have faith in a positive outcome. Let me give you a personal anecdote, which can kind of help on this. When I was leaving one of my jobs, I had a boss that I really cared about, and it was difficult to quit. So when I had the conversation, I had a psychic conversation as well as a verbal conversation. So in my mind, I projected the thought, I would like to leave with grace and dignity, and I love you, but it's time for me to move on. It'd be great if I could have just said that, but instead I said something that was close to it, but this person was intuitive, so they got that I loved them. They got that I wanted to do this in a nice way, and they understood that if I didn't say everything, they could put together all the points, and they're like, he just needs to move on. It's not about me. And it really was about personal growth. So I had 2 conversations, and I also visualized like a hug or an embrace, and then me being free. And it worked, but it was because I entered it not with a sense of tension. And the conversation quickly went to one of excitement because they just wanted to hear what was next. So know that you can transmute something that hasn't even happened by going into it with a feeling of this is going to be great. And that's what I try to do for each reading too. I'm like, today's going to be amazing. This is going to be one of the best readings I've ever done. And I'm surprised as each reading unfolds how that energy can spill over into it because I'm bringing hope, optimism, and transformation into each reading. So you can do that in conversations, you can do that in difficult things in your life, and you can definitely do that in manifestation. So if you want to create something that hasn't existed in the past, but you can see the possibility, just trust it. You're the little fool here, the bird taking that first step. And then know that you also have the energy of the star. You can really see this take flight. So I like that we have 2 metaphors of ascension there, and that's all you have to do. Visualize it. 2 of Wands. I talk about this card a lot. It's a great one for understanding the power of that. I only have a little one here, but see the crystal ball in front of you. Really imagine the future that you have. I have selenite. I might grab one for the meditation. This will also work. But yeah, you could use any sort of crystal for your own meditation and see the future in there, hold that energy, and really that can be part of your daily meditation practice. All right, so clearly you have some great opportunities on the horizon. I feel like you're in a good place for communication this month, even with Mercury in retrograde, if you trust yourself. So trust yourself. And you may also have a really good advocate. If there's something that you've heard about that you want to kind of go out on a limb and try, talk to a friend, talk to somebody. And I feel like that will be something that you can make happen through your existing connections. By the way, thank you, Ryan, for helping me, and thank you, Maria. All right, let's look now at love. Love in this particular spread is not just about people in your life that you're dating or you're married to. It also has to do, as I said, with family. And I think for many of you, there is either a symbolic release that's going on. Some of you might also be dealing with the death of someone, or someone that's falling away, like they just want to pull back a little bit. Think of like the Six of Swords energy, where it almost feels like they're just MIA, or they've ghosted you. And that's kind of what I'm getting, is that image of someone kind of transparent. So whether they're literally making that transition into spirit, or they've just decided to move on and didn't give you a chance for a proper sort of release, that's what this month is a chance to do. Notice in the background, there's this beautiful sun break happening. I spent a very short amount of time up in the Pacific Northwest, just a few months. And I remember, though, that you could look out over like Puget Sound and you would see this beautiful sun break with it's almost like something that you would see from a painting. So some of you may be focusing on this woman. I'm focusing on that sun break in the background. And this reminds me a lot of like Five of Cups or something, where somebody could be focusing on the loss. I'm looking at like, God, there's something wonderful on the horizon. So once she lets this person go, she can turn around and see like, it's going to be okay. It's not going to be easy. There's a little bit of a journey to go through, but there's something beautiful waiting. I hope you can see that here. I'll pull it a little bit closer. But I would say for you, once you let it go, it's going to be better. And the release can be laughter, it can be tears, it can be time. But give yourself the requisite, the required time to sort of get through this, because I feel like, again, I got father energy or male energy. We've got a couple of male cards coming through here as well. Some of you may just have a man in your life that is occupying your thoughts or your energy, and you're going to have a chance to let them go. It can also be a woman that is just super strong. Whoever it is, they had a lot of control. And this month, you're going to reclaim that and say, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm ready to let the light shine. And we see that light here. You're going to basically be the strength card and reclaim. It's a reclamation month. If you're deciding to enter into a relationship, make sure that you're on equal footing. And if you're in a relationship and it needs to be balanced, balance it out. And again, if there's a friend or a coworker or someone in your life that has agreed to something, but they're falling short of that, try to find a way to be direct and to correct that. Because just like little kids or pets, people can test your limits all the time, and they just want to see, like, is this okay? Can I get away with this? And that's the sort of fool energy. It can be kind of playful, and you can approach it with a laugh, like, I know what you're doing. Like, let's not do this. We've got other things we need to focus on. So there's a lot of ways you can approach that. I love your destiny card. It's reversed, but I want to pull it upright so you can see what's coming through. It's literally sort of let the sunshine in. I think that was that song, was it Fifth Dimension or something? It was part of the Age of Aquarius, right? That was like the intro or outro of it. So this is literally about letting the sun come into your heart space, into your third chakra, becoming that strong, beautiful star, because the sun is a star. So these were both reversed, both of the stars, the sun and the star. So we want to bring these upright. We want you to ascend. We want you to shine. We want you also to feel like you can partake of other people's success and shine with them. I've been mentioning this in multiple signs this month, but if you have someone in your life that's really successful, that's kind of reached a new pinnacle of happiness and achievement, know that if you're their partner, if you're their friend, if you're their brother or sister, that doesn't diminish your light. That can only amplify it, because you are within that. It's like you're revolving around that sun, or you're with that sun. So just see yourself as being in their light, not their shadow, right? And you'll have a chance to shine too. We all can, we all will. So this is what it's all leading up to. Open up your heart and basically get through this release moment. You have to let go of something to get to this beautiful sun that wants to come around, right? So I would like to now review what we just talked about, and then I'm going to discuss the soul work, which can hopefully help you open up and shine a little bit more, okay? So I'm going to start with the gratitude one. I feel like this is a really great way to combat shadow energy in your life. if there's anything that's going on where you feel for some reason like, I'm angry that it's taking so long, I'm angry that I'm here, et cetera, et cetera. If you can be grateful for the experience, I just noticed like my G almost looks like an arrow. It brings you, it's able to sort of like bring you into a better space. It's just like that. It restarts the cycle and brings you into a better place. Ultimately, you also want to brighten your light. So if there's anyone in your life that's challenging you, then I've said this many times, but I'll repeat it because there's always new people joining. The answer as a light worker is to shine that spotlight into the shadow, not to let the shadow define you or to intimidate you. And then ultimately, we got the message here. It's about release this month, release in relationships. And we also got that energy around parental people in your life, whether it doesn't have to just be a father or a mother. It could also be a boss. It could also be an adopted parent too, if it's not biological, or an aunt or an uncle, someone that took responsibility for you. But it feels like there's some sort of a control dynamic that you're going to basically embody your own voice this month. That's what we see with strength. So that for some of you might be your purpose. For the rest of you, maybe there's a decision, I want to work on myself. I want to accomplish this goal. Whatever that goal is, visualization throughout the month. I was using this visual aid here of having kind of like in the Two of Wands, seeing what it is and holding it in your hands. It's either a crystal or it's the earth. You'll see multiple illustrations with that. But basically holding the vision of who you're going to be, planting that seed, and then stepping into the full energy and planting it with this sense of it's going to work. I can do this. Even if I'm, if I've kind of dug my feet in the ground in the past, I'm going to bend a little bit like a new tree and be able to grow, be able to flex. Don't let other people pull you off your path, mute your light. Don't get distracted by the time that it's taking to make something happen. Again, visualize the success and trust that you can do it. You are on the rise this month. You are ready to ascend to go to the next level. The choice is yours if you want to take that flight, because some of you are still processing and it takes time. And one thing that I didn't say, and I want to kind of touch upon this, is there's no right amount of time for grief. And again, I can speak from experience, having lost a parent. It takes time, and you can still be processing it 6 years down the line. That's why this came through. Sometimes when you think you're through with something, whether it's an ex that left your life or a parent that's passed away or even a job that you've quit, years and years later, you'll have like a dream and you feel like it's just like yesterday. So when that happens, think about what it is that it's triggering, and hopefully today we can help release it in the meditation a bit. Love and relationships actually want to develop and come in. The key to success, as we look between all of these, we have Two of Cups, we have Queen of Cups, and then King of Swords, is this communication card, the Ace of Swords. Also, if you meet someone, there may be really strong attraction and great communication between you. An Ace of Swords or an Ace of Wands is actually very good when we're looking at new relationships. The important thing, though, is to break cycles of basically not saying what you mean to say, or if someone else is doing things and you don't trust them, or they're being a little sneaky. That's why we see the sly fox. This can be someone that's talking behind your back or doing something other than what they've said. This kind of behavior needs to be stopped this month. So if you're in the presence of it, don't let someone kind of try to get away with it. It needs to be brought up, and you need to then make a decision. Am I going to allow this to continue? The answer, of course, should be no, but how you decide to deal with that is up to you. For some of you, that's actually what this is about. You have to see something that you didn't want to see. So people may be revealing a part of themselves that you didn't expect, but it's always been there. And now you're blessed by that insight. Now you can heal or you can move on. The other thing is there might be something going on in your body or in your health that you need to pay attention to. The sooner you act, the better. We're not seeing terrible cards here today. So it's really just about being proactive. That's the main message with health. With wealth, if you believe it, then you can do it. If you don't give yourself the chance to dream it, it's never going to happen. And if you think you're not deserving or not capable of something, then you aren't, because you're actually taking that possibility off the plate. So let the universe show you what you can't do. Don't let society, parents, or your fears or doubts, that shadow that we were feeling coming in, define that. Give yourself as much time as you need to grieve and release, but remember that there's something more beautiful, something worth celebrating just beyond where you're at right now. And you and only you can decide when you're going to let that sunshine come in, but it's there. And we see it in the card right after, in this beautiful illustration, and all that gold energy that wants to come into your solar plexus and also just into your overall auric field. Okay. So really, if we were to sum it up, there's healing that's available to you. healing and release. And what better time than a retrograde cycle for that? Because that's what you're supposed to do. Look at something that didn't work, basically go into that energy, try to learn the lesson this time, and then you stop the cycle. It doesn't come back anymore. You can upgrade. And that's really the other piece of this, is there's an upgrade that wants to happen, an energetic, a spiritual upgrade, okay? So let's go ahead now and move to the soul portion of this. So we'll meditate in a moment, but this is really important. This kind of sets up what we're going to meditate on. I'll be pulling 3 cards. Again, the overall theme for all signs this month is unconditional love, or I say love with a capital L. But for you, we're also looking at release as a component of this. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see what might be coming through from the past. I'm going to take a drink here as I do this as well. Okay. We have the Wheel of Fortune. And I love that it's a dream catcher, because this is showing me, again, kind of that connection between what we just talked about. That which you dream, that which you visualize can become a reality. But the interesting thing with a dream catcher, it functions sometimes as like a little bit of a cobweb, right? It keeps things from getting into your life. And I think as spiritual people, as empathic healers in particular, sometimes we're like this dream catcher. And not only are we holding our own dreams, but we're holding a lot of spiritual baggage. So going back to the plane that I saw at the beginning, I'd like you to, just like a spider, go in. We're going to do that maybe in the meditation. That's what I'm seeing. We're going to clip out the old web and create a brand new web. And in this new sort of spiritual web, this energetic magnet, you're going to attract your dreams and pull them in and hold them. We're not going to eat them like a spider, but we're just going to use the metaphor of a web of bringing it into your life, and then integrating with it. We'll see you maybe as a star at the center of the spiritual web, and we'll have like, yeah, I've already got it in my head. So we'll do a little bit of that. I think this will be really nice. Okay, but know that whatever it is that you're trying to become, you already have it. The Wheel of Fortune's in your past. You have value. Someone in your life may have made you question it. You might have lost touch with who you are and what your capacity was, but I see it. So just know that that's there. So now we have the Son of Wands here, which is really connecting you to your ability to imagine things. And we have a power symbol here as well. And so with the Son of Wands, know that you have the capacity to dream it and do it. That's what we're really seeing. And I want to let you know that if you can really hold within your heart and soul what you want to create, it can happen. And the Sun is a knight in this deck. So this is movement with respect to dreams and ambitions. So some really beautiful stuff can happen here. So once you've pulled in the energy of what it is that you can do in this dream capture or cosmic web, which we're going to create, then this is when you can actually, it's almost like a match, right? You can, or a wand, you can touch it. Since it's wands, we're thinking of that. And just imagine like a magician, we can actually see it come to life. So again, there's a lot of mind over matter with this. So just taking that action, making a decision, not always being able to verbalize it, but making the internal decision is really important. And I think for some of you, that's what it is. And then the world, release, movement, moving. Someone just said they want to move on. By the way, hi, Sherry. That's an old neighbor of mine. So with the world card really has to do with getting a new job, moving to a new place of living, like basically a new house, or spiritually moving on. Like, I am done with this now. I want to create something new. It's a new cycle. For a few signs earlier in the week that I was reading for, we saw like the World or the Wheel of Fortune in the deep past. You actually got them both. You have 2 cards that typically come through as wheels. This is showing the value. This is showing what you can accomplish. This is showing that it's time to let go of something old and begin something brand new. So we also saw this here with respect to these 2 very separate energies of the Emperor and the Fool. So something that worked before may not work now. Something that you let go of, you get a second chance to do. All you have to do is make the decision to take that magic wand and feel like you can basically have the power to ignite. So I have a very clear idea of what I'd like to do for your meditation. So I think this is a great time to get started. I hope everyone can stick around. It's kind of like in yoga, if you spend an hour working out and then skip out of the shavasana, you're losing something. So stay for this if you can. If not, you can watch it on replay. And I thank you for whatever amount of time you did decide to stay today. But at this point, let's get into the meditation. I'd like everyone to get comfortably seated. And we're going to focus on your physical body first, and then we're going to move into the metaphysical. And one thing that I'd like us to kind of visualize is maybe being inside a sphere like this. I want you to kind of like the Two of Wands energy. So I'll hold it while I'm kind of setting this up, but we're going to imagine this, and it's not something you can break into. It's a crystal. So you can see your consciousness, you can see your body inside this crystal, and it's going to be very safe as you do this. So see yourself in a magical crystal. We're going to start with this and then ascend out of the planet, but I need you to first kind of be protected in the sphere. So see yourself in the sphere and scan your body now. If there's any place in your body that you're holding on to, anything that feels like it's either uncomfortable, or you might have physical pain or emotional baggage. We were talking about that plane that couldn't take off because it was carrying too much. We're all carrying different types of pain in our life. So again, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's environmental, or a combination of all of these, and maybe even things I couldn't hit upon here, know that in this moment, the focus is going to be on moving past it, letting it go. Even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes today, you're going to get out of that pain. So put your feet on the floor, connect with the planet, just like we saw with that Emperor card, feeling that in this moment in time, you're safe. You can always come back into your body at any point during the meditation if you need to. And I want you to, as you take this first breath, allow for energy to come through your crown chakra and go through the body and upgrade and release and let go of pain, sending anything you don't want into the planet through that connection that we've established, almost like roots into the planet. Mother Earth will take it if you don't need it. So take a nice deep breath, expanding your heart, expanding your lungs, and together we're all going to kind of help one another with this as well. Inhale. Hold it for a second. Feel the energy moving through your body. Feel that lightness of being, lightness of thought. Let go. Let go of your shoulders. Let go of your neck. Let go of the little muscles in your face, your eyes, your scalp. Let go of your thoughts as well. Feel that in this moment, all you are is light. Lightness of thought, lightness of being, and also that solar energy is starting to move around you, just like the crystal that I was holding, creating an orb of energy, an orb of light. This is going to be your cosmic vehicle that's going to take you above your current situation, that's going to provide you with perspective to help you move above and beyond the pain, above and beyond the distractions, helping you see more than what is around you right here and right now. With each subsequent breath that we take, it's as if you were taking flight, as if you were spreading out your wings, or if you were kind of like fueling up that plane and getting ready for takeoff. So each breath is going to actually take you higher and higher in the atmosphere. Let's take a breath together. Inhale. See the orb of light lifting you up so high now that you're above all the trees, above all the highest buildings in the city, and you're looking down for a moment, seeing your body still on the planet, but your spiritual body is now starting to go up like a balloon in this orb of light. From this height, there is no sense of obligation, of duty, of guilt, of anger, of frustration. If there are any clouds, any fog, any shadows in your life, you've now moved above the shadows and you see them for what they are. They're not really that scary. They're just moments or movements or things that you need to understand. Take a deep breath, and with this breath, I want you to push light into the shadows in your life, whether they're people, whether it's illness, whether it's uncertainty of what tomorrow may bring, whether it's just darkness and you're like, I'm sick of this. I want to get to the better part of my life. See an energy starting to build within your solar plexus. It's called that for a reason. We all have the energy of the sun within our body. Connect with the sun, just like we saw in that card. Allow the sun to come into your solar plexus. And as you inhale, pull the light in. See it brighten. On the exhale, push the clouds, push the darkness away, transmute it into light. and imagine that there's nothing but blue sky around you. If you need to take another breath, for those of you going through something more difficult in your life, keep breathing until you see the darkness go. Each breath you take, see it getting lighter and lighter, turning from dark to gray, from gray to sort of misty, from a mist to nothing at all. All that you see is golden light, blue skies, and this orb of energy that you've now created in your life, in your energy space. And above the earth, above the planet, in this higher realm, I want you to look above you now. Sometimes we forget to look up. Look above you and see your higher self, another beautiful, resplendent, energetic orb. And I want you to connect with that. And as you do this, you get an upgrade of how to build what we saw in that illustration, a cosmic web that's going to bring in hopes and dreams, that's going to bring in possibilities, it's going to protect you as well, just like a web, it can hold things back. This is more focused on attraction, though. I want you to imagine what it is that you're trying to create in your life. Balance in relationships, a new job, better health, general happiness and well-being. Whatever it is, I want you to hold this thought or these thoughts and see them starting to light up in your hand like a cosmic seed. And now, just like a spider would weave a web, I want you to start to create a tapestry. It can be something more symbolic. If you don't want a web, you can create something else that can attract. But if you like the idea of a web, and I do, start to create a web going from the inside and moving out. Kind of has the energy or the shape of what you would see in a seashell or the golden mean, which is a very kind of cosmic and I would say also high energetic pattern. So create the spiral, and within the spiral, you can see these independent sort of connections, these threads, just like a web, also existing. And within the spiral, plant your hopes, plant your dreams, see your future, see this cosmic net, this energetic web of light cast up above you, kind of like a canopy, your own firmament, fancy word for the sky. Each of your dreams are lighting up in this firmament, in this web, in this canopy like constellations. They will provide you with the vision that you need to get to your goals and your destinations. They will protect you. They will attract these opportunities in your life. And they will represent for many of you certain points in time as well. So you've created a calendar in this cosmic canopy, in this firmament above you. Let's take a few breaths and breathe life into each of these points of light so that they start to shine like stars in the sky. Inhale. On the exhale, see them lighting up. And let's also work on some releasing. For that father figure, parental energy, or authority figure in your life, see that you now can reclaim power, be the authoritative one. Let go of that sort of unnecessary energy of authority that they were kind of putting into your life, wagging of a finger. You don't need that anymore. You are strong enough to make decisions on your own, as scary as it may be. You're like the bird that we saw there, the fool, ready to take flight. Inhale, release that person from the past. Bless them as well, being grateful for the lessons they taught you. And then think just like a teacher would say, you are dismissed, class is dismissed. The lessons you taught me have been integrated. And just like the star card that we saw, you're ready to ascend, to rise above that situation. So see the person, see the energy that they represented, and see yourself starting to rise in the sky. Focusing on the Knight of Wands card, take a symbolic, energetic wand in your hand, and whatever it is that you want to see happen, imagine that you have the energy of something that you would see in a fairy tale or a book, and just wave that wand and see it starting to take form, to take shape. And if there's a shadow that you want to dismiss, point the light just like Harry Potter would, and see the light coming out, see the shadow going away, and see nothing but blue sky. And for the World card, see yourself in a new place. Symbolically, literally, see things moving. See your energy getting there faster than you thought it could. Knowing that the distance between the wheel of fortune and the world isn't as far as it seems. You have what it takes. It can happen overnight if you want it to. Take a last deep breath and see your entire body light up. And now imagine, just like a dandelion seed, you're going to start to twirl around and gently move towards your body. And as you move in a clockwise fashion, each one of your chakra systems is going to light up as well. From the top of your head to the tip of your toes, you're going to spin each energy wheel, and you're going to become lighter and brighter. As you approach your body, you'll pick one of 2 points, either the crown chakra or the third eye, and you're going to look up and allow that energy to integrate with your physical body, knowing now that you are much more than this human form. You are your higher self. You see that canopy of light above you that you've built, this attractive web that's going to bring in positivity, abundance, and growth. As you take this last breath, I want you to feel a sense of things being okay. Things are going to start to get better. See that sun break that I showed you in that one card, where the rays of light are surrounding your body. To seal in the energy and the work that we've done, take your 2 hands, gently rub them together until you feel warmth. When you feel that, you can stop and kind of move them back and forth. Imagine that you can see that orb that we were creating, that I showed you at the beginning. You can even try to kind of fashion it almost as if you were a sculptor, and hold that energy for a second and see the future that you want to create. See the healing that you might want to feel today. And gently bring those hands towards your heart space and allow it to melt into your center, to your heart. For those of you that might be going through an emotional difficulty or power struggle, you can also put it on your solar plexus, which is right around your belly button. And on the next exhale, you can gently open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. So I hope that you enjoyed today's reading, that you can really focus on what wants to come through, which was growth, abundance, new beginnings. Most importantly, and I would say most consistently, release. In order to allow that to happen, and in order to allow the sun to come through and that strength to come through, fear, anger, and regret needs to fall away. That was the shadow that I saw kind of trying to come in my dreams this morning. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. We're going to work through that. We're going to illuminate the shadow. A lot of times when people act up, when shadows come through in your life, they just want attention. It's kind of like that, I can't remember his name. Is it Charlie Puth? It's that song, You Just Want Attention. That's really what a shadow wants. And so what you do, though, is you, instead of ignoring them, you give them a different type of attention. What a shadow wants is anger, more frustration, that they want to be fed. So when you shine the light, they retract, they fizzle away, or they can become something better. When I do sort of blessing of my own house, I always give energy a chance to upgrade. I still send it out of here, but I'll say anything that's darker, allow it to go higher or go back to source. It has choices just like we do. So try to push light into the darkness and then ultimately let it know, I am of the light. I'm moving forward. I don't have time for this, okay? So thank you so much, everybody, for joining, especially for those of you that stuck around. I know we lost a few, but a lot of you did stay for this meditation portion, and I really do love this. This is something that I've thoroughly kind of really enjoyed as a healer being able to do in 2020. So there'll be more meditation videos because there's only so much time I can do. This really is like Shavasana. I will do some additional meditations that will take us further down that journey. I appreciate all of you, by the way. I see that I got a lot of super chats and super stickers today. So I'm beaming out my heart energy towards you. Thank you so much. When the video is on replay, I'll take a moment to thank all of you in the comments. But right here and right now, if you love the decks and the things that you see here and you love the meditations, all of that kindness definitely is felt right back when you guys give me a super chat or super sticker. By the way, if you're wondering what those are, again, it's that little icon. You can do it there. Let me tell you a little bit how you can keep in touch with me before we sign off today. A great way to find everything, whether it's news, information, booking an appointment, you can just go to my website. Everything is there. It's nicholasashbaugh.com. And if you want to join me on social media, I love Instagram, actually. It's a great way to, I have stories there actually that will have little countdowns on it. So reminders basically of these readings. So if you want to join me there, it's a great way to know when I'm doing a reading or a video. Also lots of cute pictures of Apollo, who's patiently waiting for his walk. I'm also on Facebook, YouTube, obviously, and Patreon, and you can join me there at my username here, which is just my name at Nicholas Ashbaugh. Patreon is another great way to give back on a monthly basis. There's a new way here on YouTube as well, which is there's a member button. I put individual, you get special icons. You'll have a different sort of color text in this, and also you're just helping me out a lot. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all these stickers and super chats. You don't know how much it makes my day. I just bought a lot of new cards, which I'll be using. So you'll be seeing some of this come into fruition. So thank you. I'm also on Twitter, by the way, and Ashbaugh. And for those of you that are old school, you can also reach me on PayPal. I'm going through this kind of quickly because it's all in the chat. And also you can just go to my website and click Patron, and all the information is there. So hopefully all of you enjoyed today. Remember to shine. That's the one thing. I really want to look at this card. This is one of my favorite star cards because it really is just about the star, and it's such a beautiful one too. It has all the different colors in our auric field and our chakra. This is you. Are you ready for it, Sagittarius? This is you. This is March, but you have to kind of embrace that, okay? Special thanks to both Maria and Ryan for helping me out today. And don't worry, Heather. I'll be back tomorrow. Feel free to join me, by the way. I'll be back for Capricorn tomorrow, and then later this week for Aquarius and Pisces. You can also watch February if you haven't. It's all on replay, and your sun, rising, and moon. Okay. Love and light to everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. And again, I'll be back same time tomorrow for the next sign. Take care, everyone. Such a pleasure to be here, and I really do appreciate all the super chat and super stickers. You guys are amazing. All right, bye-bye.